started in about 1995. I had no idea it had started, but later on, around 1999, I found out that in 1995 something started that would cause the Manson family to come completely to an end. There would be no existing Manson family members talking to Charlie Manson after this. And the Secret Service can probably take credit for breaking up the Manson family as we know it, where not one member of the Manson family was now talking to Charlie Manson. And again, the Secret Service can take credit for this. Okay, in 1995, and again, I didn't have any of this paperwork, as the events were occurring. I only would get these later on. Okay, let's start. It's about 1997, very end of 1997, around Christmas time, I would say. I get a call from my work. I'm on a job. I get a call from my work, and they tell me I need to go home because my kid, who was probably 15 at the time, had just called and said the Secret Service was there and they wanted to see me. And I was like, the Secret Service? So I immediately called home and I talked to him and I asked him, hey, what, the Secret Service? Are you sure it was the Secret Service? You know who the Secret Service is, right? They're the people that protect the president. They're involved in the Treasury Department. Are you sure it wasn't like the Homeowners Association or something like that? And he's like, no, they said they were the Secret Service. And I said, don't let them in. And he's like, no, I haven't let them in. They're gone. They said they'll come back in a couple hours and they hope you'll be here. I was like, okay, crap. So I rushed home and now I'm standing outside and I'm waiting for these guys to show back up again. And you get that feeling of flight or fight. It's either you're going to fight these bastards or you're going to run. And it is an adrenaline rush like you've never had in your life. I mean, I'm sitting here waiting for the Secret Service to show up. I have no idea why. None whatsoever. And I work for banks. I'm working for banks at the time, so all that crap's going through my head. Like, what the hell did I do at these banks that now I'm in trouble with the Secret Service? And also, I was writing, for autographs and things like that. And sometimes I got into, a little bit of opinionated in these letters. And sometimes I wrote presidents. And I was thinking about that too. I was like, oh crap, I know I've written Clinton a few times. But he only sent back like form shit. I really wasn't being mean to him. I was talking about things like, at the time he had this don't ask, don't tell policy in the military. So I wrote him about that. So it was just normal shit, but I gave my opinions and I was thinking, wow, man, did my opinion piss him off somewhere down the line? I didn't know what was going on. All I knew is I was waiting for the Secret Service and I was looking off my porch. I was standing on my porch and I was looking out into the street. And out in the street, you can see the cars pull up. And I'm lighting a cigarette and I'm lighting cigarettes off of cigarettes. I'm so damn nervous. I can feel the sweat rolling down my back, down the crack of my ass. I could feel every nerve in my body. I look down and all of a sudden I'm smoking 2 cigarettes at one time. I mean, I'm just like, fight or flight. And I'm damn near ready to take off. I'm ready to run. I know why people run now. It's like, I can't handle this feeling anymore. I gotta do something. And all of a sudden they pull up. Now I'm trying to breathe. And they pull up in front and I'm on my porch and I'm standing there looking straight at them, but there's a set of bushes that go all the way down the street, so they have to walk down all that set of bushes all the way down the street and then walk back up the sidewalk to get to my stairs, to walk up my stairs and walk up my second set of stairs, which I can see him do the whole thing. He gets out of his car and I'm like Joe Coy, I try to like, hey, how you doing? Don't look at you. They just get out, they stand straight up, they move like robots straight down the street, right past the bushes, all the way down the sidewalk, all the way up the street, all the way up my stairs. And he didn't look at me until he was dead in my face. And then he showed me his credentials, which is his big ass wallet, flips open, Secret Service. And then your heart's like, okay, what did I do? You're waiting for that. And they never tell you that. They never tell you that. All they do is interrogate the hell out of you. They ask you every question in the book. Have you ever thought about, have you ever thought about this? Would you ever do this? And then they asked me about Manson. And I thought, oh no, what the fuck? And they asked me how long I've been writing him, how long I've been writing the rest of the Manson family, and how long I've been writing other serial killers. But really, they were only interested in the Manson part of it. They were really intrigued with this Manson shit on why I would be writing Charles Manson. And I tried to explain the whole thing just like I tried to explain to you in the first few videos. It's like, I found the guy interesting. I wanted an autograph. So I was telling them all this shit. I was showing them all the shit that I had. And they were all fine with it. And then they left. And it was all good. And I thought it was. And then I started thinking about it. And the more I thought about it, I thought, fuck, man, why did they ask me all these questions? Not only did they ask me a bunch of questions, they took photographs of me. They took fingerprints of me. They, again, asked me a bunch of questions, and they searched my house. And then they left, and I was still scared to death because they really don't tell you why you're there. They asked me all these questions about Charles Manson, and I kind of got the inkling it might have had something to do with him, but I wasn't really sure. They didn't, at least they didn't say I did anything at the banks or anything like that, because that was really scaring me to death. That's what I thought they were coming for at first. Not that I ever did anything at the bank. It just makes you go through your mind and wonder of all the crap. It's like, what did I do? I can't remember doing anything wrong. Well, now I know it has to do with Manson and Lynette Fromm. Lynette Fromm, remember, she was an assassin of a president. So they're kind of leery of people that write these people. And he was kind of insinuating that I probably should give this hobby up, if that's what it was. If it was some kind of thing that I was having, I bet I should just give it up. And then they left. And I thought, give it up? What the hell? What the hell were these people? Who in the hell are these people? And then you start thinking, man, I need to get a lawyer. And then you're just like, I ain't got no money for a lawyer to talk about Manson shit. It'd be better just to give it up, And the more I thought, it was just scaring the hell out of me. It was really scaring the hell out of me. And one day, all of a sudden, I just drove. It was a normal occurrence. I lived in Van Nuys, and I drove by this hot dog place every day. And I drove by one day, and I thought, damn. And I pulled in, and it was at nighttime. It was like 10 o'clock at night. You're waiting in a line, and a lawyer runs the place, and he sells hot dogs like, I think I got a judge dog. I think the judge was like, it was a hot dog with chili and cheese and onions and mustard. And not only can you buy a hot dog there, he also gave free legal advice. So I went in there and I asked the dude, like, hey dude, and it's like short, like 5 minutes, tells you exactly what's up, what he thinks anyway, as a lawyer. And I'm like, hey man, I write these weird people, undesirables, and I collect autographs, and all of a sudden the Secret Service shows up at my house and want to search my house, want to tell me, I should give this hobby up. I don't even know why they're there. What should I do? And he basically said this. He says the Secret Service has no right to come and search your house, not unless have you threatened the president? I was like, no, I never threatened the president. I never did anything like that. All I wanted was an autograph. And he's like, well, if you've never threatened the president and you've never written any threatening letters or anything like that, they really have no reason to search your house without a search warrant. Even though they are part of the federal government, they still need warrants and all those things as well. He goes, if you want to find out about what they came for, he goes, you can do a Freedom of Information Act, and that will tell you on the reason that they were there, if they have any files on you. And he goes, nobody can tell you who you can and can't write, even if it is these undesirables. And that was it. And after that, again, if you want to look this place up, it's a cool ass place. I don't know if it exists anymore, but it did back in 1997, and when I went in there in December. And it's called Law Dogs. It was in the San Fernando Valley, and the dude gave free legal advice, and he sold hot dogs. And they did a bunch of news programs on it, and there's a couple links again down here, you can check them out, of this dude's law practice that he did, where he gave free legal advice, where I went and got free legal advice about the Secret Service. Okay, anyway, now we're back to, okay, screw them. I'm going to keep on writing Manson anyway. I'm going to keep on writing all these other people, because I wasn't just writing Manson. I was writing Lynette Frum. I was writing Bruce Davis. I was visiting Bruce Davis. I was writing Susan Atkins. I was writing Charles Watson. I was writing Dennis Rice. I was writing the whole damn Manson family. So it kind of looked like, you know, I was really interested in the Manson family. Anyway, time passes, and all of a sudden, I noticed a pattern that was forming. And again, it was like every time that Bill Clinton would fly into Los Angeles, I would get a visit from these guys. And they would show up, and they would show up with 2 sheriffs every time, 2 sheriff cars every time after this. I guess as witnesses, you know, I don't know, but it was the sheriff's department that would come here. And of course, 2 of them, so there's 4 sheriffs, there's 2 Secret Service guys. Every single time they want to come and they want to search your house. I'm like, after I got this advice from this guy, I'm like, why do you want to search my house for? What do you need to do that for? And he's like, oh, we just want to make sure that you don't have any shrines to dead presidents. And I'm thinking, oh, fuck. I got newspapers and shit that say, you know, oh, crap. What are they going to fucking think of those? So anyway, I let them search, you know. Again, we went through all this crap that I had, of all the shit that I've collected from, you know, and some of it was Kennedy shot, killed on the front page of a newspaper. I had where Jack Ruby was shot, and the cop who shot. So I had a bunch of stuff that was interesting to them as well. And also there's Manson shit that was interesting to them every single time they came. It was almost like they came just to talk and look at shit, you know. It wasn't really like I was a threat the second time that they came. I wasn't scared anymore, and I was kind of like, I was kind of happy to show them this shit. Really, the sheriffs were happy to look at it, and they all left. They're like, hey, see you later. So it was different than the first time. And again, I noticed a pattern, because again, and now here we come again. Comes into town, and here they are again. More sheriffs, more Secret Service. It's happened 4 times. 4 times. The 3rd time, I kind of got pissed. I'm kind of like, dude, why are you people coming here? You already know I'm not a threat to you. I'm a collector. You come and look at this shit every single time. You come and look at my house that has flowers and teapots and everything else that normal people's houses have, and I'm no threat. Every time you showed up now for these 3 times, I've never been a threat to you. I'm not a threat to you. I like these people. I write to these people. No big deal. It means nothing. And I kind of, you know, like, would you just give it up already? Well, they didn't. They came back again. And the next time this dude came back, I guess they referred the message to him, because he's like, man, we're sorry. We just got to follow up on everything, and we won't bother you anymore. And you're an autograph collector, huh? You wrote Bill Clinton and all that stuff. He was asking me all these questions about Bill Clinton. And so you wrote into the White House, we know, and he never wrote you back, and you never got his autograph. But I'll tell you what, when I go back, I'll tell them, you know, basically I sounded like he was talking to Clinton directly. He's like, I'll tell him that, you know, the trouble that you went through, and all you want is an autograph, and we'll get that for you. And he left. He left his business card behind, and he left. Actually, he had to come back twice, because he left a door hanger, and I come home and I'm like, fuck, they came again? And then he shows back up again. And when I'm there, and that's when he tells me this, and he says, we're not going to be bothering you again, and he leaves. And it wasn't, I don't know, it was, I can't, time relation, I don't even know. But one day, my kid wakes me up. It was like fucking 3 o'clock in the morning or something. He wakes me up and tells me that the White House is on the telephone. I'm like, what? Are you sure it's the White House? Here we go through that crap again. It's like, are you sure it's the White House? And He's like, yeah, she says that she's the secretary to Bill Clinton. And I'm half asleep. I get on the phone and she says, hey, you know, we got the message. We're sorry about what happened to you. And it's been inscribed already and it's on his desk waiting for him to sign it. As soon as he signs the picture, he'll send it back to you in the mail. And I'm like, did I hear what I just thought I heard? And within a few weeks, there it is. Bill Clinton, signed picture. For all the trouble I went through with them investigating me and Charles Manson. It's like, man, this is bizarre. All these things that happened through this crap. Well, again, like I said, we'll go through the file now. There's a file, you know, when you do a Freedom of Information Act, there's a file you can find that was done on yourself from the Secret Service. And I had written Manson some letters that talked about Clinton. Well, that was bad because they were already watching Charles Manson. Later on, like I said, later on, I didn't get all these papers in progression here. Later on, in '99 is really when I found out the whole story. And it wasn't really until I was watching Podcast. Like I said, you can learn things on all these people's shows, so they're all beneficial if you want to listen to them. I learned on Podcast. It was one of George Stimson's first interviews. I don't know, probably 5, 6, 7, 8 months ago. I don't know. Could have been 2 months ago. It was one where Stimson was talking anyway, and Paul asked him, why did you give up visiting Charles Manson? And he said that the Secret Service forced him to. They forced him to make a decision between visiting, or between either writing to Manson or writing to Lynette. And in that interview with Paul, he says in there that he decided that he was going to write Lynette. And then from that day on, he basically broke it off with Manson. Wouldn't talk to him, wouldn't tell him why, didn't explain to him anything. So that was the end of the contact with Sandy Good too. So that was technically, now that TJ and all these people were dead, Capistrano, she might have occasionally wrote him a letter or two after that. But technically, any one of the Manson family members going in to visit this guy, the contact was now broken because they'd done scared George Stimson off. They made him make a choice. I didn't make any choices. I kept writing them all. They all got, eventually all of them started to get on my nerves. All of them were, none of them were really my kind of people, except for Charlie. There was something about Charlie that I just liked that guy. And now we're up to 1999, and I'm going to show you some of this paperwork that will show that TJ was the first one that was investigated in this thing. Well, he would have been, because he wrote a letter to Manson with a little newspaper clipping on it, telling Manson that some kid had just threatened the President of the United States, which was Bill Clinton at the time, and he was going to kill the president if they didn't release Charles Manson and John Gotti. You can go look it up. The kid was, he was like in a competition with his dad because his dad had threatened some people and his dad was in jail, so now this kid went and threatened the president to up his dad. Like I said, you can read about it. It was back in '95. Okay, now TJ gets the newspaper clipping, sends it to Manson back when it happens. That triggers everything. When you start talking about Clinton after somebody has now threatened him and they mention one of the people in the article, it's not good news with the Secret Service because you now are on alert. And I didn't know it, but from 1995, every letter I wrote about myself, I was telling the Secret Service too. So I was on alert too from '95 then. Like I said, they would have investigated TJ, but they didn't have time. 2 months later, he would be dead. Well, evidently, George will have to tell you his own story, but they've investigated him too. And later on, I told Charlie this story, and he told me they came and investigated him too. So I don't know how many people they investigated on this, but this is my file right here that I have from the Secret Service, and eventually the autograph that I got from Bill Clinton the day the Secret Service came to visit me about writing the Manson Family. And after that, I was pretty much the only one left. Because I was still writing Manson. And now we were trying to visit. But the rest of them had given up. They made a choice. And you, again, go back to Paul Cast. Maybe Paul can put the link up now on wherever or what have you, where George said that. But that's the day that ended the Manson family, is when George made that decision with the Secret Service that he was no longer going to write Charles Manson or have any contact with him. And he didn't. Again, hope you learned something. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it. It's just, again, thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day. And as always, peace and love. Till next time. See you later.